So this is the song currently in my head. It's called an earworm. Look it up. I think it's an obsessive compulsive disorder equivalent, but I tend to always have a song in my head, and this is the one right now. So it's the Hotel Song by Laura Jane Grace and the Devouring Mothers. I'm a huge Laura Jane Grace fan. I'm a huge Against Me fan. That's her band when she's not doing these solo projects. So I will not only listen to the Hotel Song, I've heard the song a lot, but I'll watch the video. I've never really seen the video. I think it's like a lyric video, though. I think I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember it that well. And then I will go over the lyrics too. So away we go. Not a fan of long introductions. So away we go. So she, with Against Me and with this, her vocal phrasing, it doesn't seem traditional most of the time. It's almost like the melody of the lyrics are catching up with the melody of the instruments, or sometimes like she sings or speaks so fast that it tries to fit into the rhythm of the song, but it's just so well done. It kind of I think encapsulates the anxiety that she tends to feel a lot. So these lyrics right here, always be preparing to leave, always keep dropping what you don't need, and be going before love becomes disappointing. I mean, Laura Jane Grace, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, she is one of the greatest lyricists of the past 20 years. Personally, like after or on the same level as someone like Eddie Vedder. I'm 45 years old. I think Laura's like maybe 5 years younger than me, and her lyrics just really just get to the bottom of my core, and they're destroyers, as they should be sometimes, because these kind of lyrics help you feel. So it seems that she's comparing a hotel room to relationships. So when you're in a hotel, so you're always preparing to leave when you're in a hotel. You get there, but then, before you know it, you got to go. Always keep dropping what you don't need. So, maybe you don't need the extra soap or the robes or the towels and all that. Or maybe you don't need just some things that make your baggage even heavier. See where these metaphors come from? It's so fascinating. And be going before love becomes disappointing. So it's what I think is a self-destructive tendency, where it's like, well, I really love this person, but I don't want to be disappointed, because that disappointment's going to hurt more than anything. So you're kind of future tripping. You're kind of imagining what things would be like instead of being in the moment. And it's hard to think like that if a lot of your life is, thinking ahead all of the time, which is an anxiety equivalent. And then it's always be preparing to leave, always keep dropping what you don't need, and be gone before love turns to resentment. So then it's disappointing, and then it's resenting that you're disappointing. But again, it's future tripping. It's imagining this. And the video is glimpses of a hotel room from the writer's point of view, and it's animated. Yep. So the video is all from the point of view of the writer of the song. So it shows what they're looking at in the hotel room, but then it shows what they're doing on their phone. So again, just more self-destruction, and Laura writes a lot about self-destruction throughout her career. So I want something from you, even though I shouldn't ask for it. I want something from you, even though I can't receive it. 2 beats longer to hold on to, then I'm going to make a sudden and destructive action, like say something I don't mean, say something hurtful and foolish. So again, it's harkening back to the lyrics before, how it's almost becoming like a self-fulfilling prophecy and a pattern and a habit. So you can be really into someone, but it's like, well, this is my pattern, this is my habit, and this is going to be destroyed because that's what I know. I know this chaos, even though the chaos is harmful and self-destructing. It's the devil that one knows. So the key is to break these patterns, to reform new neural pathways, so you have a different way of thinking, so you don't feel like shit when these self-destructive actions happen. Well, that's point of view of just putting a cigarette out, which I didn't think hotels allowed cigarettes. And she's probably doing it. Oh, and so she's probably breaking the rules of the hotel room, but why would they have an ashtray in it? So this is my favorite part of the song coming up. It's a short song. It's less than 3 minutes. And just the rage that Laura shows. So Against Me's early work, it surprises me how Laura can even sing, because the screaming that she did, especially early on, those first couple of albums, were just like, you could just hear the vocal cords shredding. And she still has these screams, but not as much. Her voice is more like of her singing voice. She has a really great voice, but I'm like, oh my God, I don't think she took any vocal training or anything. Like, how she can do that, how she did that night after night after night and not in the best conditions. Against Me for a long time played basements, like literal basements, and sleeping on people's floors and dumpster diving and all that, just trying to get by. So these lyrics, I sleep in my jeans and I die in my sleep, I'll be gone in the morning. So it could mean a bunch of different things. So I sleep in my jeans is something I can relate to. Sometimes I'm too tired to put on sweatpants or pajamas or whatever. And the I die in my sleep, I think, well, when you sleep, it's kind of like dying, but for 8 hours. You don't really know what's going on. And then, you're going to wake up, 99.999% of the time, unless you're dying or something. So there's that. But then she could also be thinking about how it's a figurative death, or a metaphorical death, about how after this self-destruction she just dies little by little every night because of the behavior that she describes in this song. And then the last line is, I'll be gone in the morning. So she's leaving because the life of Laura Jane Grace has been on the road most of the year. So one place to the other, not necessarily knowing possibly where you are, and not even enjoying the sights that much. It's like you see a hotel, you see the gig, you see the arena or the club or the basement or whatever, and then you're off to the next gig, and then you'll see a laundromat or a gas station or a truck stop or a road, and I would imagine after a while the things look the same because you're not really settled, and she'll be gone, she'll be leaving. And so leaving the hotel, leaving the relationship, and moving on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next self-destruction, because that's all she knows. So I'm just going to rewind a little bit, and just to get to that. So good. The rage. It just builds and builds and builds. And the video is just a bunch of animated waves hitting the hotel room. It's just a flood. Maybe a flood of emotions, because this is the most, the heightened just emotion of the song. Like a wave, the crescendo. And then you see the storyteller's hand outside looking at the stars, and then she is gone. It's a short song. It's a powerful song. I love all kinds of music, from the longest 20-minute song by Yes with all these different time signatures to a short song by name any punk band, but something like this is just it takes you there, it tells a story, it really hits you hard emotionally, and then then she leaves, then she leaves you just feeling that hopefully that release that music can bring. So if you've never heard of Laura Jane Grace, where have you been? I highly recommend all of her work. She has a vast catalog from Against Me to her. She did Laura Jane Grace and the Devouring Mothers. Oh, and she also did Stay Alive. That was the one. So it was Against Me. I was on tour. The pandemic hit, and then she recorded Stay Alive. Was her first one under Laura Jane Grace, and then At War with Silverfish was maybe a year or so after. And I think the Devouring Mothers album happened like right before, or no, I think Against Me was back touring. Actually, no, they were back touring because I had tickets to see them on Long Island, and the show had to be canceled because it was March 2020. So she's using this time to record, thankfully, and then hopefully she can safely be back on tour when she's ready. And it's just so hard to tour now because the virus is still there, and it's trying to figure out how to do it safely. So I try to see Against Me. I've seen Against Me every single tour since New Wave. And every show, at least once, sometimes twice, and every single show has been great. I haven't seen Laura Jane Grace on her solo gigs yet, but I would love that a lot. So anyway, I hope you love this podcast a lot. So it's short and sweet, just like the song. And so you can find me on Twitter at MMAM Podcast. You can email me at mmampodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at MMAM Podcast. And please review and share and do all that good stuff. And, COVID is still happening. This is April 6th, 2022. And normalcy is opening up. Trying to have some kind of normalcy in New York. With that said, the virus is still out there. And then it's having mitigation efforts like masking. Vaccination is the most important thing. Vaccination and boosting when you're eligible for it. And, stay vigilant. Stay vigilant, and that means getting your information from credible sources because there's so much propaganda out there. So, read the New York Times, USA Today, NPR, BBC, Washington Post, any of these. Just read one of them in the morning, a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night. If you like listening, BBC Global News Podcast is incredible. NPR Up First is very, very good. Straight news, right down the pike, and it'll get you the information that you need without, making you angry, depressed, despair, without lying to you. It keeps you informed, and then with that information that you have, hopefully you can try and think of ways to do something about it. You don't want to be neutral ever, and especially in a time like this. So take care of each other out there, and hopefully I'll have a podcast sooner rather than later. I've been busy, but I'll do my best. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.